There we go. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back to another episode of Last Take, a Shot in the Dark. I am your host, Mr. Kevlar Treatum Swell. Joined with me, as always, Mr. Skip, who loves that name from at Skips Trophies and more.
What's going on, people?
And his partner to the left of me, Mr. Diamond, Dirty D.
Yo,
What it do, fellas? What's new? What's
He
going
said
on?
that shit like he owns something, yo.
All right, are you sad? Are you okay?
hey man, I'm just living, man. You know, we just be stay blessed. Everybody got stuff going on in their lives, and we deal with them every day. We just got to keep pushing forward.
Mm, wise words. Skip, what's new?
Hey man, we the back to school backpack and giveaway school supply giveaway drives the last 2 weeks were successful. And what I mean by successful is the car clubs themselves having to get back out in the community to to dissuade or disprove the belief that we're one way and we're not. And by giving back, we had a lot of people say, "Man, we never would have thought that. You know, you guys would be doing this and that." And I heard a lot of different positive stuff about the fact that car clubs was organizing these backpack drives for the children and whatnot. So yeah, then I did a couple of car shows this weekend also. So you know, everything was good, man. It's just everything positive, nothing negative, nothing real bad. You know.
Hmm, can't ask for more than that. Well, fellas, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Starting off, let me get my banner ready. DeSean Watson,
Hmm. Hmm.
the NFL. So originally when this first aired, I was covering my face there. When this first came out, they said that it was going to be Sue L. Johnson recommended a 6-game suspension. Roger Goodell struck that down, and now it is still to be determined, but from what it sounds like, it could be from anywhere from 12 games to an entire season. Skip, what does this look like for DeSean?
It looks like he's going to be railroaded, and the NFLPA is going to try to fight from the back versus fighting from the front. I think if the NFLPA steps up and say, "Hey, we bought an independent arbitrator here for a reason. Damn how you feel about it. You agreed. We both agreed, the NFLPA and the NFL, to go with the arbitrator's decision. Now, since it didn't fit in the scope of what you want, you have the power to say, you know what, we don't want that. Let me institute what I wanted anyway." So, in my opinion, the NFLPA should flex their muscles and say, "I tell you what, if you overrule this arbitrator that you and I both agreed with, we're going to strike." Because there was no reason for them to bring the arbitrator in the first place if he was just going to strike it down if it didn't agree with what he wanted. They want to take some of his money. And see, I don't want to get off subject here, but think about this. They're saying conduct unbecoming of an NFL player. He hasn't been proven to have done anything wrong. Having sex is not wrong. He's not married, so he didn't commit adultery. So conduct unbecoming because somebody accused you of something that you were not convicted of. So is it the optics that they're worried about? Because that's not conduct. It's what it looks like. So to me, it's one of those things where if uh, um again, not to get off subject, Pete Rose was doing an interview at Philadelphia Phillies baseball stadium or something, and a woman asked him about a girl 55 years ago that said he had sex with me and I was underage at the time. Pete Rose said, "Man, that was 55 years ago. I don't know what you're talking about," and walked off. This is the same damn thing if you think about it. They said he raped them. There was no proof. We're going to go civil. Now it's conduct unbecoming. What the fuck? He never said he didn't have sex with her. He always said it was consensual. So where's the bad conduct here? You get what I'm saying? But again, I think the NFLPA should, you know what? If y'all go against what we both agreed we would accept, we're going to strike or we're going to do something to make you say, "Hey, you're not going to just run over us because you have ultimate power." That's why there's an NFLPA, but I don't think they're going to do that.
D. Shit, what's up?
Well, initially, from my sources and what I was reading when this came out, the 6 game suspension, it was initially a 12 game suspension that they agreed upon between the two sides. And the problem fell through because they wanted $10 million of DeSean Watson's money. That was the money that he made last year when he didn't even sat out and play. So that's where it fell through. That's why it went to the arbitrator. She issued 6 games. Now, DeSean Watson's side defense, when with this going back and forth, they finna use the Roethlisberger case in the situation of the same amount of time that they gave Roethlisberger, which he got in trouble for 2 different women that was sexual assault cases. This guy's not been proven or nothing. They waited to see what the backlash from the community was going to give him in the court of public appeal, not the court of law. Um, and like me and Skip talked about on previous shows or whatever, it's all about money. If he hadn't got $240 million, he was an average player, or even a Joe Blow walking around out here on the street. We wouldn't be getting this much media coverage. When the last time the Browns had this much media coverage? They didn't have Johnny Manziel when he was doing crazy stuff. Got him up out of there. Flash Gordon, he was doing crazy stuff up there. They got him up out of there. Baker Mayfield. This is the most we didn't got since Baker Mayfield. More chunky soup commercials than on the field play. Here we go again. On off the field stuff is getting the Browns all this notoriety. Um, I don't think it's gonna fall.
Oh, we lost it. Until he gets back. The the statement he made about it being uh, the court of public opinion. We see you, but we can't hear you. D, are you back? Say something.
Yeah, I'm here. I got
Okay,
you.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, like I said, the court of public appeal, this is where everything goes in. It's been went away from you're guilty until you're proven innocent. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's guilty. Kev, you committed a crime. I didn't see you do it, but I'm saying you do it. You did it. You guilty. Now you got to fight to prove that you didn't do anything. You see what I'm saying? Which this man in 2 different legal court cases, or when they tried to bring Anderson court cases, when they tried to bring charges, the civil court said we don't have anything to charge you with. He admitted to doing things. Now this is my thing too, Kev. These women done got paid 3 times, twice by DeSean Watson and the Texans. What else do you want? What
More
else do you
money.
want?
The thing you said about guilty until proven innocent, we're going to talk about this later, so I'm going to just touch on it now so we can really go into it when we hit this subject. The Miami Dolphins. When Torres, not Torres, what was the coach name that exposed? Flores.
Flores.
Flores told
Flores.
the whole world what the Dolphins were doing. Nothing happened.
We
He
need to
took a
hold that.
blackball. Well, he did get another job somewhere
We
else.
got we're gonna get into that. We'll get
But
into
again, now all of a sudden,
we get
they
into
want
that.
to suspend him for all this stuff. But yeah, we'll touch that. But the
We'll
guilty
touch
until
it.
proven innocent part, where you said, look at the difference here. There's one glaring difference. The Miami Dolphins weren't guilty of shit when somebody told them, I was told to do this because it was a white man.
Whoa. We want to get into that later. Let's get in 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 that later. But that's the main thing here. This is drug on for almost a year and a half. Football season is gonna start. Now they saying, hey, we're gonna let him play in the preseason game. We're gonna let him do this, we're gonna let him do that. You know what I'm saying? We get more protests at football games than we get play on the field. It's either about some dogs, drunk driving, beating on women,
Or kneeling.
or kneeling. Or kneeling. We can't get a decent game. Just like Kale said, they done brought the political views and all this stuff into the sports arena. So here we go. If this guy was a third string quarterback, they would have cut him and been off the team. Again, I keep iterating this offensive tackle. whooped this girl's ass
In Seattle.
in Seattle, wanted her to get on her knees and call him king. I don't see the backlash from the women of that compared to this man that paid for services rendered.
Well, some women are into being degraded.
Kev,
You
don't
know,
do that.
it's just certain
Kev,
shit you just shouldn't say, man.
Kev, don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean,
He,
People have their kinks.
if you know about
he,
that case, man, that was an insulting statement, man.
he
And
was
you
a
the oldest woman's face up.
he was abusing that young lady, which he was married to or engaged to. They're in a relationship. He got her on all fours with a dog chain. He punched her until she was unconscious.
He threw her across the living room. Imagine how big and strong a man has to be to throw a woman 30 feet. And you make that statement. Come on, man.
Different walks of life. All right. Well, since we already interluded to it, I was going to save it for later. Miami. The Dolphins have been fined $1.5 million. Now, if y'all remember, this situation started months ago when Brian Flores, as Skip mentioned, the ex-head coach of the Dolphins, came out and said that him and players were being paid to throw games. Now, the speculation later came out with this, and it kind of made a little bit of sense when I heard it, that they were doing this whenever the rumors of Tom Brady leaving New England came true. So they were trying to just throw the season, try to get a great quarterback. And I've heard, and I hate this, I've heard a lot of people speculating, well, what if the Dolphins would have gotten Tom Brady? Anyways, it's been a whole big thing. Later, Brian Flores came back out and accused two other teams of of racial allegations. There we go.
Because they wouldn't hire him.
Because they wouldn't hire him after he was fired from Miami. But at one point, Miami was actually being praised because of the amount of black leadership that they had in their front office. So where do we go from here, D?
Well, first and foremost, let's back up on this right here. Brian Flores, out of 3 years of being a head coach, he had two winning seasons. The franchise has been in a dumpster fire because again, they still been looking for Dan Marino as a quarterback. This is going to even shock you too, Kev. Before Tom Brady got involved in all this, they was in pursuit of DeSean Watson. Am I right, Skip?
Yep.
Flores,
He even went at Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
Flores was trying to. He said, "I don't want him." The GM wanted him. The owner wanted him. Hey, I don't want him. DeSean Watson knew this. Who knows what he knew what was going on? You turn around in the mix. You offer Tom Brady ownership in the team, which everybody don't know. The Miami Dolphins has a bunch of minority owners. Serena Williams, Alex Rodriguez, they're owners of the Miami Dolphins franchise.
Mhm.
Okay, so you tell Tom Brady, hey, I'm gonna give you a stake in the team. We want you to come play. Come to find out now through all our findings, they went up there and talked to Sean Payton under the table. Flores is still the coach. This man comes out and tells you guys these things over a year ago. He tell you the process of the interview process for other teams, and it's quite ironic. Belichick is the one that pulled the wool off of everybody by calling this man on the phone and saying, "Congratulations on the job you got." He was like, "What you talking about?" He had an interview with the Giants. Then he had Black Bill and White Bill. Brian, excuse me. White Brian and Black Brian in his cell phone, but he called Black Brian in the state for the other Brian that's now the coach of the Giants. For these owners, it's still a good old boy system in the NFL. That's why you see what's going on. There's not a lot of minorities involved. Now all of a sudden, the Raiders, they get black women and minority women in prominent roles in their franchise. Guess what? Microscope was on them. We still got the Washington Commanders. We still looking to see what's going to happen to them. Jerry Jones got some dirt in his closet with the Cowboys. He hiding the love child and paying money up under the table. But to get back on these Dolphins, the owner, he didn't got suspended. He can't be around the team and the organization to October 17th. Plus this money. And they lost first round draft pick next year, and I think a third or fourth the following year.
Third in 2024.
The third. So, and they lost another one. But to come out and say, oh, this has nothing to do with what Flores said. We didn't find no findings of them throwing games. Come on, y'all. Really?
The thing is, if Flores told you all this here, and then all this other shit came out, why would it be so far from the truth that he was telling the damn truth? Because, again, in my opinion, the skin color plays a lot into this type of shit. When Ben Roethlisberger did what he did, or what he was accused of, they gave him a little probation or whatever. They give him 6 games, sent him on by his way. It was swept on the road. DeSean Watson has said he was innocent from the beginning, and he's still guilty right now. And Roger Goodell is going to show us how guilty he thinks he is. I think they're going to go ahead and do the whole year. I think he's going to get a 17-game suspension. That's what I think. They're going to suspend him for this whole season and try to fine him $10 to $12 million because he makes so much money a year. And the NFLPA is just a poster board because they're not going to do nothing. They're going to pump and puff about who that's just so wrong and we want to appeal it. But meanwhile, Deshaun Watson going to be sitting on the bench. And again, the NFLPA is supposed to be like what a union would be to unionize workers here on the street. And they're not. They fight in what's in the best interest of the NFLPA, not in the best interest of the player. That's my opinion on that. Until I'm proven wrong, it ain't gonna change. But you know, with the Dolphins, man, we're talking about a billionaire. $1.5 million is like $10. It's like $1 to that man. So, I mean, what's that?
I want to go back because even Flores, he brought out how the Denver Broncos and John Elway treated him. He brought out how the Giants treated him. He was up for the Texas job. Didn't hear nothing back from him. Now, Mike Tomlin had an interview. He went in there and on his interview, he said he wanted to talk to the Brody family owners. Hey, man, you want to bring Flores in? We don't have no problem. We don't have no problem with it. Because the guy deserves a job. I don't understand is why certain coaches, the guy down in Arizona had 1 year, the black guy that was a coach down there, 1 year. They fired him for Cliff Kingsbury, never won nothing in college, didn't have a winning record in college. The man had the #1 pick and he got Kyler Murray. They got him about to go. There's other numerous black coaches that came around. They got 1 year, got him out. Tony Dungy is one of the poster boys for somebody taking his team and winning the Super Bowl with him. He's a poster boy. He built Tampa Bay's team when they won the first Super Bowl.
Sure did.
Now look, Todd Bowles, he was up there with the Jets, his first coaching job. Got him up out there, got him out of there and fired. Now he done got the keys to a team that's already made to win with Tom Brady. He has a quarterback, he has a defense, and he has offensive skill set players around him. Let's see how good of a coach is he now. Eric Bieniemy can't get a job. He's been running Kansas City offense for the last 5 years. They say he don't interview well. He got Skip. I did some research on Eric Bieniemy. They saying he had some kind of battery charge or some type of crime that took place back when he was at Colorado when he was playing. Are you serious?
But see, that's the thing, D. You dig deep on somebody that deserves it. But like you said with Kingsbury, however you say his name,
Kingsbury.
His resume is nothing. And you bring him in and give him the keys to a Cadillac. So it happens a lot, man. But at the end of the day, the root part of it is skin color. That's just what it is. We can sit here and sugarcoat and say, no, it's not. But it's only happening to non-white athletes and coaches. It's only happening to them. You don't hear anything about white coaches getting blackballed and not looked at or not interviewed or they don't interview well and blah, 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 blah. Come on, man. There's all kinds of excuses when it's a black person. He don't interview well. His resume should be enough. You get what I'm saying? Resumes are how you're hired. The interview is just the icing on the cake. That's in any process. When they say submit your resume, that really will submit whether you're available for the job or not. Now, if it's a job that you have to have perfect diction, I get it. Interview will prove that. If it's a job of how you dress or how you look or how you'll be perceived when it comes to the business, interviews will get that. But the resume is what gets you in the door. And I just don't understand how these guys, be enemy number one, and shit, I can't think of the other guy's name, but they have impeccable resumes and they don't get shots. I just don't get it. But hey,
But I went, and it was amazing. I went to the last game I went to. I took my son to see the Falcons play against the Detroit Lions. And by the grace of God, we sat right behind the Detroit Lions bench. And the whole coaching, assistant coaching staff, from the special teams all the way up to the position coaches. Because you sit behind the bench when they come off the field, offensive linemen go this way, the receivers go this way, and whatever skill positions, and they talk to their coach. Every last one of the Detroit Lions coaches was assistant coaches was black. I was shocked. I was like, whoa, he got a lot of black coaches on the staff. I'm talking about long dreads down their back, and you know what I'm saying? Defensive line coaches, so forth and so on. It's okay for us to be in these position coaches, but to run the helm is a problem. We can count on our hands. Art Shell was the only black coach I've seen growing up for the Raiders. That's why you have a lot of Raider contention around this country. Al Davis didn't give a damn. You turn around, Herm Edwards was a coach for two different franchises. Romeo Cannell got a job. You see what I'm saying?
with a garbage ass team,
And
but he got a job.
he got two trash ass jobs with Cleveland and the Texans. You see what I'm saying? We can count. Todd Bowles has been on numerous teams. He been the defensive coordinator for several teams. He got a job with a dumpster fire team. We have not seen them one time. Look what they did to Cardwell up there with the Indianapolis Colts. The man had a winning record. Took Peyton Manning to the Super Bowl after Tony Dungy retired, and they fired him. The man went 10-6 playoff team. They fired him. He went the last time Detroit had a winning season. You know who the coach was? Caldwell. They fired him. Man has not got another job in the NFL since.
A lot of those coaches know a lot of stuff that they don't say. Like Flores came out and told everything that was happening. Number one, they all have money, so we could take the money part and throw it away, and that's part of the reason why I think Flores had the stick in his back. If I never get another job, I need to let everybody know what the fuck is going on, and that's where I think Flores' mind was when he was telling all these things. Now, did he still want to coach? Yes, but if he never had a coach again, like a Kaepernick, I got money. No, I'll just make it work somewhere else. But the black coaches, what's the man in Pittsburgh?
Mike
Mike
Tomlin.
Tomlin.
Tomlin is what the longest tenured
Yeah.
white
Yes.
coach,
Yeah.
and he's such a staple that they can't fire him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's done it with less, and he's continued to win. So if you put, well, I say if they interview at the right times for these jobs with these teams with decent enough players, then I think the landscape would change as far as black and white coaches. Now we won't outnumber them because that just ain't gonna happen. But give these guys the same fighting chance you gave, the dude, that takes over for a team that just came from the Super Bowl, like in Indianapolis' case, or in Denver's case, or whatever the case may be. And until that happens, man, this still gonna be a topic that we can talk about and agree to disagree and everything else. But I just look at the nuts and bolts of it. There's no use in saying, man, why he don't get a chance? Why he don't get a chance? We know what it is. That's just what it is. We don't want to say it out loud, but that's what it is.
Well,
Anyway,
I do. Oh, go ahead, D.
I can take it a little further on some history, and Skip probably know the Florida Gators. They defense, all those Florida Gators teams, they had them ferocious defense was led by Charlie Strong. He was their defense coordinator. This is the SEC kid, what I'm going to tell you. He couldn't get a job. No, not him. But he couldn't get a job in the SEC at the time because of he had a white wife. And I'm saying that Florida over Florida overlooked him. He had to go all the way to Louisville to get a job. He got fired from Louisville. He was Texas' first black coach. They didn't ran him out of town. He then got all the way back. He back down here in South Florida. Hell of a coach. Hell of a coach. All them Florida teams that had them defense and winning national championship, he was a defense coordinator. Can't get a job. They didn't bust him down all the way to the South Florida Bulls.
Hmm.
And it keeps happening. Sylvester Croom was the head coach of the Mississippi Bulldogs. Ran him out of town. Mississippi ain't did nothing. Mississippi State ain't did nothing. Dak Prescott came down there and played. They got ranked very high in the nation. But guess who the coach was? Dan Mullen was the coach. He
You
the
see,
same coach. They tried to get Cam Newton that money. They
Hmm.
ran him out of town.
yeah.
They ran him out of town and they gave him the Florida job. He's gone again, and they still playing him. So all this stuff is they just use them as recycled tires with low tread on. They just
Mhm.
keep bringing them on. I don't understand how a person go 1-15, 0-10, 0-12, no playoff game, but they get a job. They didn't hire this man down here in Florida for the Miami Dolphins coming on the San Francisco 49ers staff. He look like Poindexter. They gonna run all over him. He was more concerned. He was more concerned at a press conference about he missed Yeezy Day instead of worrying about getting a team ready for a preseason game. He worried about a shoe day.
But but in defense of the college coaches getting fired or not getting jobs on the college scene, boosters play a big role in that. You know, we can sit here and say it's up to the AD, athletic director, or the president of the college or whoever, but the athletic boosters play a big role in who gets hired. Everybody wants a big name, a name with a winning record behind them. That's why Spurrier can go to any school he wants to. You know, that's why Alabama's coach Nick Saban can go to the pros and come right back into a prime head coaching job. You know, once you have that resume, we back on that again. I'd rather a Mississippi State or Oklahoma State or whoever would say, you know what, he's a winner, he's proven. Let's get him. Let's not even interview them black guys because we don't know what they're gonna do. We know what they've done when they were under somebody, but we want proven leadership, and that's where I think the boosters come into that with that. That's my look on that. I'll look on
Hmm. Well, that is a true statement. Boosters are a very big part. Boosters really call a lot of the shots behind the
that.
scenes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, moving right along here. All right. Well, D, you mentioned earlier Cowboys having some issues. Wide receiver, but this does not just chop down to the Cowboys. There's a lot of injuries. I mean, it just happens this time of year. You know, cats get lazy during the off season, or maybe they don't. Sometimes they just overwork themselves, and something goes wrong. D, what are some notable injuries you've seen so far?
With your Cowboys, they are down to like they fourth, fifth receiver, and
Yeah,
they signed a guy off of the USFL,
USFL.
yeah,
USFL.
USFL
They
team to
better get
play.
Dez Bryant. He working out.
They need to get Dez back. Look,
You think I'm
Dez said
playing? Dez
years
working out.
ago. Dez said years ago, I will come back to the Cowboys.
Uh, Jerry said they fine, but that's why I was asking. Is the preseason games really these important as you say? I say they are, but you gonna risk these injuries. I seen the Falcons have lost like three different defensive tackles. They haven't even played a preseason game yet. This is why you see a lot of the big time players not playing in these games or they not practicing this hard. What I'm saying? The freak accident, receiver broke his foot. You usually
Hmm.
see around this time skip ACL tears and
Exactly.
and
And,
um
and and
Achilles.
a lot of that is not stretching. You're
Yeah,
not warming up the right way. Like you said, not training yourself or getting your body ready for preseason in the off season. thinking, you know what, I just go to the non-mandatory minicamp and get ready. And then when mandatory minicamp comes around, I'll be back in shape because I just pop back. No, that shit
Mm-hmm.
don't work like that. And you know, we all were athletes in our own right, at our own levels growing up. I think I was a hell of an athlete. And I remember I could twist my ankle and couldn't walk. 5 minutes later, I'm running and jumping. This shit don't fly to NFL level athletes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they tear a muscle or a tendon and they done for the year for fear of having, you know, it being a season injury. But these athletes are wimps compared to what the 80s and 90s athletes were. You didn't see these kind of injuries, these this many injuries in the preseason. You saw broken limb. That happens. Contact, you know, two immovable forces hit each other, something breaks. We get that. But you know, like in the Falcons case, y'all ain't doing nothing but practicing, and you got 3 season-ending injuries. That's to me is not warming up correctly, not stretching correctly, not taking care of your body. Because if my body could generate me 15 million a year, I look like an Adonis. And goddamn, you know something working out, boy, I got 15 million reasons not to.
These goddamn keg goes to a 6-pack real
I'm
quick.
trying to tell you.
And
But,
that's the
but
part. That's the part when we discuss
Oh, hang
about the
on,
money.
D. Hang on, D. Skip was.
no,
Oh,
let
I'm
him go.
sorry.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Go ahead.
That's the part. That's the part when we were talking about contract. That's why they hold out. They try to get all this money up front because just like that, a freak injury, whatever can happen, and it's gone down the drain. But they know they got their guaranteed money. Another thing, you have some players that might be nicked, but they got to go out there and perform because they this close to being cut off some of these teams. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And things happen, or you got a guy out there that's going 110 while you out there just giving 75% because you know you already got a roster spot. Now this guy that's hungry, he didn't hurt you. We've seen camp fights break out. The 49ers just had one. The Falcons had one. They had another camp fight. They had to shut this stuff down because you got overzealous players that's hungry. They are one slip of away, one play making wrong, and they're getting cut. It's over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to take these spots. Even the rookies that's getting drafted, Kev, out of 7 rounds, ain't but 3 guaranteed to be on that team.
That's
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
right.
maybe in a slight fourth rounder, a slight fourth rounder. And then they ain't giving them, no fourth rounders ain't got but a 2-year contract. The third rounder might get 3. The first and the
Yeah.
second, they gonna get the most reps because they got to see what they got.
Mm-hmm.
Now you factor it in with an aging veteran, a,
But see,
a,
go ahead.
a rookie free agent, or whatever. But I agree with Skip too. A lot of it, they not in shape.
Right. And and
They
and, and
go ahead.
the veterans have this stupid ass belief that a young buck gotta respect them. I've seen clips, you know, they were old, of some cornerbacks telling a rookie wide receiver, "You can't do me like that. You better not do me like that. I'll whoop your ass." And dude said, "Man, I'm a grown ass man. At the end of the day, your job is to stop me. So, nigga, if you want to fight, we can go over here and fight. But when they hike that goddamn ball, I'm gonna do it to you like I did it to that rookie." These veterans have this sense of superiority because they already vested. They, like you said, they got a roster spot. They're gonna be here. They don't have to go hard. But this 4-1 running rookie better not embarrass me. I'm gonna whoop his ass. To me, I say, boy, I would just pray that somebody had a camera on one of the veterans that said that to a rookie, he get blasted, they go on the internet, and then on top of that, he get his ass whooped. Because just like you said, when I'm hungry, I'm eating everything in front of me. You understand me? Now, if you put this all-pro receiver in front of me, it should be his job to say, you know what? That young cat hungry. Go ahead, coach. Put the second string in there. I'm not going to let him embarrass me or hurt myself trying to keep up with him because he got a point to prove. You see, so like you said, these young cornerbacks and linebackers or whatever got a point to prove, and you lollygagging and he hits your ass like a Mack truck. You want to beat him up because, man, you know we were taking it easy. No, you was taking it easy. It's my job to be one of them 53. You see, but it's what it is, man.
And
Like I said, good.
and you have some of these players like Skip was just saying. You done got people that got cut off teams for hitting the quarterback, hitting the star wide receiver, hitting the tight end, running back, whatever the case may be. But you got a defense. Oh, man, I'm trying to make this team, man. What I'm supposed to do? I'm the fourth, fifth person on the depth chart. They start off at 75. They cutting it down to 53. They might keep what? 5 practice players?
Mm-hmm.
5 to 7. Yeah.
5 to 7 practice players. They don't make, they make a decent salary now.
Yeah,
250,
compared to what we make, yeah.
Yeah, right.
500,000 just to sit on the bench. Ain't bad.
And another team can take them off your practice squad and sign them to their roster.
Yeah,
Oh,
it ain't bad. But at the same time, them guys want to be on the field. They want
more money.
If they want to play. You see what I'm saying, Skip? You can go look back. There's some players over the years that were journeymen. Some of them are Hall of Famers now because they had that hunger in them. And they was like, hey, this dude ain't going to keep taking my lunch. I don't care. And the injury bug he hit. We wouldn't know a Kurt Warner if an injury didn't happen.
Exactly.
To Trent
Tom
Green.
Brady wouldn't be Tom Brady if Drew Bledsoe didn't get injured.
Didn't get his ass knocked out in a game. You wouldn't have these things. Some of these prominent players that you see now, Tony Romo would have never been your quarterback. Bledsoe got hurt for them.
Yeah.
Well, on the subject of the Cowboys, take this cat Tony Pollard. Had it not been for Zeke, it wasn't necessarily injury, but not performing up to where he should have been as the first string star.
Well, see, that's an example of being hungry. They knew when Zeke started falling off and not producing, put that young boy in there. He wanted to run through a brick wall. But in Tom Brady's case, he was a backup. I think 2 or 3 years running. Drew Bledsoe was the Patriots were the shit, and Bledsoe got hurt, like his clavicle or his sternum got cracked or bruised or something, and he was out. So put Brady in. That's what we got, and he's Tom Brady. Steve Young, shit. He was a backup to Joe Montana, and once Joe got over the hill, let's ship Joe out of here and let Steve go and show his thing. You see what I'm saying? So it happens, man. I mean, hungry will get you where you want to go. You just need to be hungry at the right times, and the opportunity needs to be there.
Well, I think the thing that folks forget, especially these veteran players, after they've been in the league for so many years, and I might have me an award or two here. I think it just gets to the point where they forget that the next cat is always somebody is always behind you, waiting for you to fuck up. Because as soon as you do, I'm gonna capitalize.
And that's what it's about. That's the name of the game.
Well, fellas, I think that's a good little segue right there to take a drink.
Y'all.
Well, also before we move on, since we got the injury bug up there, don't let your pride get injured, fellas. You like how I did that? Because sometimes, your soldier's not always ready to stand at ease. But luckily here at Last Take a Shot in the Dark, we've got just what you need. CBD4ED.me. Visit the website, use code ACC22, get you a nice little discount. This is one of the world's premium CBD. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh while I do it, but here's a little video for it. Hey, there we go.
You clapping for CBD? Where yours was that? Why you don't show your bottle?
Well, damn, I thought you borrowed it the other week. I'm still waiting on you to give it back.
That's just like barbers
Anyway,
and silverware. No, sir. That's all for you.
all right. Well, anyways, there was a topic that was brought up that I just thought was real interesting, so we're gonna talk about it. I don't really have any notes on it. It's more of an opinion type of deal. But as you see down here on the bottom, let me move that little banner. There we go. Is the preseason outdated, unnecessary, as we just talked about? Injuries that can be avoided. Skip said usually big name players don't do a whole lot in preseason. So, and honestly, they take it a little bit more serious than we see in these all-star games where they just come out and kind of dick around. But as a football fan, I don't fucking care about preseason.
Well,
So,
as an athlete, everybody needs a warm up. Why do you think basketball players warm up before the game? Football is, I don't think there's another sport there's contact on every single play outside of boxing.
yes,
Every single play there's physical contact. So you
Hockey.
have to get your body in a
Well,
position to accept that kind of contact. That's why you practice. Now, you can only practice so hard against your teammates because you don't want to hurt your teammates. Hence, preseason. Now, like we talked about earlier, in preseason, you don't need to go 100%. You need to go 50% to get your body in used to these contact and this stop and go herky jerky actions that you have to perform and everything else to see where you are mentally and physically. So coming straight out of the living room to game one of an NFL, man, those games would be garbage. Think about that. If no preseason, straight into the first game of the season, you talk about injuries. No, it doesn't. For people to say that, and I'm gonna say the majority of the people that make that statement, they're not athletes. They weren't. They didn't. They only played at one level. They didn't go to the next level. To the next level, and I didn't either. I know. I never even tried out for the NFL team, but I played at more than one level. You understand what I'm saying? And you need this practice preseason to get ready for the rigors of the regular season. It's just what it is.
Yeah, and to piggyback, just like Skip was saying, you want to get out there and they want to some of these coaches, offensive coordinators, they want to run some play sets against some other players. I mean, they do have joint practices more now because they cut one of the preseason games and add a regular season game. It's most to see what these rookie free agents and new players getting accustomed to the team, but they get out there and fool around and whatever. Do I feel like that a person has a fair shot at making the team now since they took the other preseason game away? No, no. So now you got to come in and ramp up like we were saying. They're going harder at each other in practice now. This is where the player association came in, and they don't want these men at practices. They don't practice in pads no more. That's why, Kev, you missed the hardcore knocking hell and violence of the sport. You know what I'm saying? I was looking at some old tapes of the '85 Bears the other day, and they were ruthless. You know, they were ruthless. They were hurting folks. I'm talking about the shit they were doing. Kev, go look at some of that stuff, man. You be like, damn, they would hit like that.
Let's see.
there
I
goes
grew
my
up in
homework
Pittsburgh.
again.
I grew up
Uh,
during the steel curtain
yeah.
era when they were clotheslining people.
Hmm.
Like you run by them, you want to, and all they got is an arm. They're gonna hit you across your neck as if it's a real WWE move, where they could pick the quarterback up and slam him on his neck. Where the way before horse collar, they grab you by your collar and run with you and throw you down like a little kid. Real football, but all football's still real. Let me not say that. It's just that now athletes are bigger, stronger, faster, and more powerful.
And more
More
fragile, it
powerful.
seems.
So I'm sorry.
I said and a little bit more fragile from what you kind
Well,
of said earlier.
anything that goes at 50 miles an hour when it comes to a dead stop, give it that concrete a crack, and you drop it 50,
Hmm.
50 miles an hour and it hits some more concrete.
You right.
So these guys are bigger, stronger, and faster, man. So you're gonna have more injuries, because of the super athlete compared. These athletes today, you can take the Cleveland Browns and put them back in the 70s, and they'd win every goddamn game. They'd win every game simply because if they played that way, simply because the athletes are bigger, stronger, faster. Lyle Alzado was 225, 230, and he was a monster. He was a steroid freak. Now these linemen are 350, 360, 6'7", 6'8".
Without the roids.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So we can say what we want to about how dominant they were. They were dominant against the same type of athlete. Lawrence Taylor, as good as he was, can't hold a candle to what Ray Lewis did in this era. Now, could Lawrence Taylor have played in this era? Yeah. But you take Ray Lewis and put him back there. We don't know about Lawrence Taylor. You get what I'm saying? Not that Lawrence Taylor wasn't the greatest linebacker alive. I'm not taking that away from him. But you can't. Comparing the two stats, yeah, Lawrence was the man. But take Ray and put him back in the 80s.
That's a good question up there on the screen, Skip. What you think about that?
Well, the pushing too hard is part of the job. It's just like if you got homework in school. You don't do your homework, you're going to fail. You see what I'm saying? It's like when you're at work. If you don't set the schedule, ain't nobody coming to work. You got to put the work in order to make the job, do the job right. So, no, pushing their bodies. Now, some of them are with the steroids and, some people just are workaholics like Shannon Sharp. This guy's 48, 49 years old, bench pressing 400 plus pounds. For what? You're a commentator. What the fuck? I follow him on social media. He is a monster.
Yes, he is.
So that to me is pushing your body too much. Now, is he going out and playing football? No. But I can't. We can always say after the fact he pushed his body too hard. That's why I broke down. But no, the goal is to solidify a spot, get a big contract, and leave the league healthy. And you're not going to get all three of them. Most players in the league with some kind of debilitating injury with the money, with the roster spot that they had. But it's very seldom a player gets the money, the big contract, the long career, and then leaves the league without some type of lingering injury.
D, before I let you go, that what Skip just said reminded me of a conversation I had with my lady. She's got this homegirl whose man is like 6'8", probably 250 pounds of just solid muscle. And, I'm not going to put his business out there, but he's on that shit when it comes to the gym. And he's a real estate agent, right? So it's like, the fuck you doing? Moving the houses? What you using all that muscle for? Anyways, go ahead, D.
But that's what he like. You got to think it like Shannon Sharp. Why is he doing that? I got an image I got to maintain. I got to keep doing this. This is what keeps me calm. This is what keeps me sane. I get it. If he's a former athlete and real estate, there's nothing athletic about it. So I need to work my ass off when I do go to the gym. Now, I don't know about the steroid shit and all that, but in his mind, I got to keep this body. I got to do what I got to do to keep this body.
It's an image. It's an image they want to uphold, some kind of stature. They want to uphold, just like Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp wants to continue to look like he did when he played as he aged, and that goes with his social life and what all he got going on. He got a bum hip because he had to get a hip replaced. But I give Shannon Sharp his credit because you got some players. Look at the Sean King, Skip, the quarterback for the old Tampa Bay team.
Oh,
He's 300 pounds.
Yes.
He was an NFL quarterback. Let himself go. But you have some of the linemen, they drop all their weight off of them. Some
What
of
was
the
his name?
commentators. Sean
King. Number 10, quarterback of Tampa Bay.
He was quarterback of Tampa Bay. Well, you have some of the linemen, a Howard Long. We seen the other guy just retired. The guy, Joe Thomas, used to play for the Cleveland Browns. He was a monster. He just been slimmed down. Moose Johnson.
Gronkowski. When Gronkowski retired, he lost 50 pounds.
You see what I'm saying? So the linemen can't start losing weight. The skill players start getting fat and big. You know what I'm saying? It always happens like that. You see them come say Moose Johnson was a beast. Daryl Johnson was a beast playing fullback. Don't even look the same now.
They don't even have that position on the NFL.
No, they don't even have none of that. And it seems like it reversed, but these younger players, some of So the younger players, I don't believe some of them don't push as hard. That's why you see these injuries. We've seen a ramp up in Achilles and excuse me, ACL injuries and all these things going on with their legs and so forth and so on. What we got? No, and I don't think the players now with the hop on this on the screen, they're not bitter. They get too much money.
No, no,
They're
no.
free.
He said brittle. No, he said brittle, not
Brittle.
bitter.
Oh, okay.
Like soft, like soft.
Yes, 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 yes. Because we didn't. I'm gonna say the reason why some of these guys played through a lot of stuff that we didn't hear about. Jack Youngblood played on a broken leg in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Run Lock took part of his finger off and kept playing. But
Yeah,
now,
in the middle.
one thing they had back in those days, drugs. These
True.
cats were using drugs. You know, we can sit here and sugarcoat all we want. Lawrence Taylor was high all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, they say
Cocaine was a hell of a drug.
Youngblood
Not
still.
just cocaine, everything, whatever it took to get them on that field, they used it. You know,
Yeah.
even all the way up to Brett Favre, painkillers. He was taking them like candy.
A lot of cats get
and
hooked
he
on
was
those
performing.
painkillers.
Huh?
A lot of athletes get hooked on painkillers.
Yeah.
Some of them can't sleep.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it still helped him. It stopped the pain and let him go out there and do his thing, just like back in the day. And the more brittle thing is, I think I kind of touched on it. These athletes today, man, they take a lot more punishment in this contact that they're giving each other than back in the 80s. Now, I'm not saying they hit harder. They hit hard. But in the 80s, everything was hit neck, head, into your leg with the head and all of that. But these guys are bigger, faster, stronger. And it's easier to break shit now.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm hitting you in
Whereas
the leg.
everybody back then wasn't big and fast and strong. Everybody these days are. So the brittle could be looked at a bunch of ways.
So you're saying versus, back then when they kind of, like you said, aimed towards more the upper part, head, neck, that area. Now they're pretty much aiming anywhere, so you can get hit
it's
anywhere.
neck down now. You can't hit an NFL player in the head. Period. You can't. A lineman can't hit you in the head, and move you out of the way. Now it's a flag. So now they've redirected all of these shots from the neck down. There's no more horse collar, so you can't grab them from behind. So now you got a target area that you got to hit. Whereas back then, I could hit you in the knees. Top blocking wasn't illegal. I could hit you in the shins or wherever I want to. But now it's you know what? If you don't hit in this little square, it's a penalty. And with these super athletes compared to what they were then, that's what they hone in on. So when you say brittle, say nah. Not so much.
I want to go back to it. What Mr. put up there also. These players played harder in college. Do they play in the NFL? NFL is like almost touch football, man, to a certain extent. So some of these players,
you got to prove your point.
That's what I'm saying. That's why some of us love college football more than we love NFL, because some of this is touch football. When Mr. brings that up, think about the Pro Bowl we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Back in the day, they actually played against each other in the Pro Bowl. It was like a real football game. Now they out there playing around, goofing and laughing and touching each other and pushing them down. You know what I'm saying? It was a meaning for them.
Sean Taylor.
It was a meaning for that.
Yeah.
I mean, even so, the concussion is gonna happen regardless. I don't care what they do with the helmet. In my opinion,
there's not a helmet alive that can stop a concussion. There's one that
you gotta think, like Skip said, you got a 300-pounder hitting a 155-pound wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? They didn't help them out. You used to go across the middle, in your head took off.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So concussion gonna happen. They done took the grass fields out. Everybody in that got field turf. So what you think up under that? Concrete.
Concrete. That turf sucks.
Concrete. So I mean, the injury's gonna happen. It's just gonna go. These kids and these men have been playing since little league football all the way up to get to this level. All up to get this level. We don't know how many concussions. I got a concussion in high school. I was back out on the field the next following week. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't no sit down and do all this. Skip probably done got one you can get
Yeah,
them in the
yeah.
sport, and ain't nobody come the experiences they have with the doctors now, the medical staff. We didn't have that back then. The
No.
analytics and hey, you don't need to play these men game. We need to sit down. We need to do this. So it's a whole different level. I know we've seen a lot of more injuries as we've gotten older in this sport. They always been there, but it's like everybody has injury bug now.
Right.
Everybody.
Well, we're seeing a lot of injuries, but also, the research and the product that we've gotten out of all the things that they can do now with these injuries and finding them. Like if you get a concussion during a game, just go back in the locker room, do a couple things. All right, you're cleared right then and there. Was it that way back then?
No,
No,
it was coach. I'm
no,
ready to go back in.
I'm ready to go.
I was
You
just did it
see,
for a second, coach. Shit. And then Lawrence said, I ain't coming out the game. Get your ass on.
mm-hmm,
That was it.
mm-hmm. They come
But
out there and move your eyes this way. You good up and down? All right, you good. Go ahead.
yeah. But
But
football is football, and I guess nobody ever thought that it would get to the point where it is now, but it's here. And we're gonna accept whatever product they give us because we like football. And old heads like me, I remember, you couldn't do that.
back in my day,
Hey, I'm telling you, back in my day, face mask was the only thing they called. You can grab somebody by the back of their helmet and pull it, and you can run with them by the back of their helmet and slam them down. That's not a penalty. Now you can't go above the shoulders. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, I remember last season a couple of fouls that would get called just from a guy, a D lineman coming by the quarterback and just a head tap, with his hand,
Yeah,
not
you
even
can't touch
doing
the head.
anything, just the glove sticking to his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And I
that.
get it, I understand it, but again, people know what they signed up for. They make a lot of money for a reason. I wouldn't want to waste my time watching a flag football game because that's pretty much what it's going to end up being. You're going to have all these super athletes just running around playing two-hand tag. You know what I mean? But hey, eventually we'll have another sport that makes us forget all about it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, pulling dreads is part of the uniform.
I was
And
gonna say,
I really appreciate the fact that they made it that way. Because number one, the fuck you run around with hair down to your ass for? You
well, it's
understand
the
me?
same thing with jewelry, right? Like if they got a chain.
Well, yeah, but the chain is never no more longer than like to here. You got dreads down to the small of your back. Tennessee Titans running back.
Yeah.
They grabbed his dreads one time and snatched his ass down. That's a penalty. Nope, it is not. It's part of the uniform.
When I'm running full speed, if I'm just trying to bring you to the ground and I'm grabbing quick, you can't be mad if I grab that handlebar you got.
No long ass out past his shoulders any motherfucker way. I don't give a goddamn. He ain't Jamaican. Ain't no Jamaicans in the NFL. Fuck that. Dreadlocks are a Jamaican thing. So all that shit is my hair, it's my religion. No, the fuck it's not. Pull that shit off. That's what I'm saying. Tuck that shit in, plait it up, put it inside your helmet, or somebody grab it and pull your roof side.
I was gonna say this coming from two men with no hair.
No, it's part of the game. I watched Ricky Williams was the first I seen get his hair snatched out his head on the field, and the guy hit his hand and just throw it down the field. Not a penalty. Not a penalty. That happened in the game. So hey, you come out there like that, anything goes. You
And
know what I'm
dreads can
saying?
rip out rather easily, right?
No.
I don't know.
No.
It's his hair. That shit hurt.
I mean, it's hair.
Obviously,
And
it
then
hurts,
think
but
most of them have them twisted up into bundles now. So that's tantamount to snatching a finger loose.
Pretty much.
You can cuss that on the sidelines and Drake's getting ready to go back in the game.
That's pretty much.
That's back in the day.
Ask you in a minute. You ready to go? You all right? Let's go.
Let's go. Well, Kareem Hunt wants a trade. The Browns said no.
And that's what should happen to Kevin Durant and all the rest of them motherfuckers. You sign these contracts, I want out. Sit your ass down and play. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. And in my opinion, it should go a step farther. Once you sign these contracts, all that griping and crying, you stuck. You should never ever be able to ask for a trade because you agreed. I'm gonna sign this extension for 4 years for $300 million, whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna be here. That's my guarantee to you that I'm gonna be here because 9 times out of 10 the contract is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand Kareem Hunt has had some outstanding play the last year and a half, 2 years, and he didn't get his extension picked up. I want to be traded. No, you got 1 more year, goddamn it, or 2 more years, isn't it?
It's
There's
2.
1 or 2 more years
It's
left.
2.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, do your job. See, because if you show out this year, guess what the Browns got to do? Damn, we're gonna lose him. Let's go ahead and extend it now. So stop crying and play the game. Kevin
Well,
Durant got 4 years, $198 million. I want to be traded. Sit your ass down.
is the new logic of pay me or I'm out gonna continue? I don't want to say continue, but gonna start to be a bigger problem than
It can't be.
Well,
Can't
it
be.
used to be like Skip was saying, they had to play out their contract, then they
Froze again. The reason it can't be is because you agreed to a deal. Kevin Durant has 4 years, $198 million left. You understand what I'm saying? And you want to be traded now because you don't feel like the front office doing what you need. No, your job is to make fucking baskets. That's why I gave you this $200 million. So shut the fuck up about being traded. But
we're
go
gonna
ahead.
get the KD. Yeah, we're gonna
You
get the
back.
Yeah,
KD.
yeah. Like I was saying, it used to be back in the day they play out their contract, and their caveat to it was they get to go on free agent to see they get some more money.
Right.
That's what they were used to wait on. Even these rookies they get drafted by these teams that pretty much sorry as hell. Oh, I just got to play for 3, 4 years, stay healthy. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is he's seeing the backside of his career. He was a top back in the league until he got in some legal troubles by putting his hands on a woman. He was the Kansas City Chiefs star running back. As a rookie, he led the league in rushing.
Mm-hmm.
He lost all that money with an incident that happened in a hotel with a young lady. He put his hands on her. They caught him on camera. But she called him, and I think Skip would oblige by this. She called him a racial slur, and he decked her in the mouth.
And that's what he should have did.
And he decked her in the mouth, and he got cut off the team. He didn't tell the team about this situation, and the Browns picked him up. Him and Chubb are probably the best 1-2 punch in the league. That's going back
Mm-hmm.
to what we said. Baker Mayfield had a hell of a team around him, not to go as further as they did. So, he held out for he held out 2 practices, tried to force his hand. His ass was back out there on the field on Sunday. Because he know they're gonna start finding your ass. They're gonna start finding you money. You don't have a hell of a contract or no leverage. You no leverage to tell them what you're gonna do, and they're gonna pull that card. Hey, buddy, you remember you got a little trouble back here. We got this on video surveillance. You putting your hands on this white woman, and you thinking you only supposed to be in the league right now.
So D, would it be wrong if they start putting clauses in contracts?
They got them.
They have
They
all
got
that already.
they got weight clauses. They got, how many yards you got to run, how many touchdowns. They have this in the NFL. That's why you see the fight about how much money they get up front. You know what I'm saying? That's why that man might have $1 million bonus if the Browns make the playoff, or he get 1,000 yards, or he gets so many touchdowns. You
That's
see what
right.
I'm saying? He's looking at that.
They
But
did Charlie Alexander like that about touchdowns and shit. Fuck them out a whole bunch
but
of money.
Yeah, but he's looking at the fact you got several teams around him prominent that don't have a running back. He's looking at that. I can get paid now if y'all get me up out of here.
But he has no leverage.
He
Just
has
like
no
Kevin
leverage.
Durant. Kevin Durant has no leverage. You signed, you locked in. I don't understand how superstar players feel like they can just say some shit. I want to go trade me, and that's just what's supposed to happen.
hmm
It outside of the NFL, everybody else's contracts are guaranteed. And once you sign that guaranteed contract, it should guarantee that you stay there those months, those years, the length of that contract. Unless the team decides it's in our best interest get rid of him now to rebuild or whatever. I don't think athletes should have any say so when they're under contract. Period. That's the reason why you make this big money. That's the reason why we signed you to this money, because you deserve it. But now I want everything I paid for. But
So does that fall under shut up and dribble? I'm paying you to do this job. Go do this job.
No, I didn't say nothing about social or economic. I'm talking about a job. When you go to your job, whatever it is during the day, you're paid to do a service. You can't go to your job tomorrow and say, you know what, boss? I ain't gonna crank this car until you give me a raise. You fire your ass because you easily replaced.
Mm-hmm.
But a $200 million man is not easily replaced. So when you agree to this contract, you should be bound to honor it. Period. There's no room for you to say, you know what, I don't want to be here no more. Kyrie acting up. I don't trust him. I don't trust y'all. Get me out of here. No.
The only difference when I think your contract need to come into play if you outperforming your contract in the NFL, where they got to come back and give you some more money.
That's NFL.
That's NFL. I'm just saying because we on the NFL topic. That's the NFL. That's what you see, and only NFL. And the reason why they do that, Kev, is because their contracts are not guaranteed. Unlike other sports where they have guaranteed $100 million, you're gonna get that whole 100. Even if I trade you, you still getting that whole 100. So that's the leverage between the two PAs in the different leagues. The NBA is ran by the players. That's why they're able to do what they do. NFL is still ran by the owners.
So
they players. Go ahead.
When you open the door for an outplaying clause, okay, I'm supposed to get 1,000 yards. I got 1,500. That also leads in the underplaying card. You owe me, because then the team could come back and say, you're supposed to get 1,000 yards. You only got 872.
No. That's not. Well, I got to skip. That's not how that works. How that works is, I got Kev over here playing for the Cowboys. Kev is making $15 million. Kev ain't rushed for 1,000 yards in 5 seasons, but y'all paying him 15. I've been here 5 seasons. I'm getting 1,000, 1,200, 13, 14, 15, and I'm toting the rock 25, 250 times out the season. I done outperformed my contract, and you paying me 800,000. So now you got to give me Kev money, who's underperformed. Now, once you give me that money, which is majority of the signing bonus that we keep talking about, that they're going to give you. Now we're working on what they paying you every 2 weeks. Now that's where the clauses come in. You can bump that contract up because what you see, Kev, when you see this, they'll say, hey, he got a $20 million contract. But performance based, he can make up to 25 million. So them 5 million are inside that contract. Touchdown, yards, catches, whatever it may be, blocks, knows how many sacks, interceptions, if he make the Pro Bowl, if the team wins the division, if the team goes to the second round of the playoffs, all those are lucrative. I think Odell Beckham made some money when he went to the Super Bowl, did he not?
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They made extra money, and they were like, I think he might have got an extra $5 million.
That's every player. Every player on every team, when you make the playoffs, you get a certain amount of money. And then the farther you go, the more money you get. That's
exactly
every player.
Exactly.
Now, certain players have clauses when you make the Super Bowl, $5 million kick in. You know, something like that. But
Pro Bowl, All Pro, MVP, and so forth and so on. And then, but on the back end, the franchise has the clause in there where they can cut you and not owe you no money.
But now, to answer your question, another part, I think D may have covered it. I may have missed it. You can always have an excuse of why you underperform in the NFL. Like in the scenario that D used, when Kev is making 15 million and he didn't reach the goals that we set. But the second string running back is reaching those goals, Cal can turn around and say, well, shit, y'all gave him the ball more than y'all gave it to me. The weekend that I didn't get but 10 yards, the line wasn't blocking. Or we played against the #1 defense in the league. Then when y'all took me out because I was, quote unquote, underperforming, you put him in there against Cleveland Browns and he ran for 500 yards. So he stayed. So that's why I underperformed. But now the thing is, when you outperform your contract, it could be because you got more playing time because of an injury, or it was just your time to shine and you got the luck of the draw and you know, average 200 yards a game or whatever the case may be. So the underperforming statement, there can always be an excuse for why you underperform, because it takes more than one person for you to succeed. Now the quarterback depends on the lineman. He depends on the receivers to catch the ball. He depends on them to run the routes the right way, to get open so he can get them the ball. But a person like a cornerback depends on him, because it's me and you. So when he does his job or he doesn't do his job, he gets pulled out for the second string or whatever. But when you have a committee of running backs, or in some teams' cases, a committee of quarterbacks, he's underperforming, sit him on the bench. We'll get him out of here next year or the end of the season. Put Tom Brady in there. Let's see what Tom does. And then Tom overperforms. And now, you know what? Y'all got to pay me, man. I got in there and did what the dude y'all paying all this money couldn't do. I need some money. So you can look at it two or three different ways, but the underperforming of the contract can only go to certain positions. You get what I'm saying? Because everybody wants to say it was Dak Prescott's fault till he got hurt and the Cowboys fell off the map.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't that. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things to where there's always room for an excuse when you underperform. You know, we want to blame Tony Romo for not getting them past the first round. It's 11 people on that field, man. But the face or the big name gets the blame, and that's not always fair. So yeah, the overperforming deserves to be paid. The underperforming needs to be traded or cut or whatever, because it's not guaranteed in the NFL unless you write that in the contract. DeSean Watson, because of what he do, he gonna get $240 million.
Now, just the jump back on what Skip was saying. Also, with that, that's why you see Kel as a camp star. You'll hear some talking about he's a camp casualty, meaning that they have this rookie player that's outperforming him in practice, that they can pay pennies on the dollar. Well, I got you making $15 million. I can cut you and save half of that money or more and go out and get 4 more players to help my team. You see that a lot.
Well, they do that in business. Yeah, they do that in business too.
This is a multi-billion-dollar business that they run. They're looking at all that, especially if you got jersey sales or declining. You want to, like I said, the back end on your career. You're going to see it now. They already talking about Ezekiel Elliott and cutting his carries down and so forth. Jerry Jones comes out and said, "Oh no, Ezekiel is the focal point of the offense." That's just to make somebody feel good. We see it. We see it. Ezekiel Elliott is not the same back he was 4 or 5 years ago when he first burst on the scene.
He's Tony Pollard gonna take his spot.
Injury, but it's the same thing. Is Tony Pollard? Is he just a flash in the pan, or is he an every down back? See, we have seen Ezekiel Elliott tote that pill 20, 25, 30 times.
Tony Pollard, he's an every down back.
Tony Pollard has came in and spelled him. Same thing with
Kareem. Down back. Yeah.
Same thing with Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's fight is he's a starter in this league. He's never been a backup till he had to take on his role, because Nick Chubb is a beast. And he's younger. We drafted Chubb in the first round, in the second round. We drafted you. You got picked up off the scrapyard. We gave you an opportunity to come play. He's seeing what we're talking about. He got the 1 more payday, and ain't nobody gonna pay him no 5 years. They're gonna give him a 3-year contract, maybe a 4. He's gonna get a 3-year contract. It ain't gonna be that much money. He's trying to cash in
I was gonna say, so you think he's just looking for an end game at this
Of
point?
course.
Everybody is. Everybody is. Everybody is.
Well,
You know,
I say it like that because when you're in the starlight of your career, 9 times out of 10, you're not thinking about when I'm done. You're thinking about what's this next contract going to be to get me through the next part of my career. So with Kareem Hunt being a guy who's been in the league for a little while, as
well,
you said,
check this out. The running back plays for the Minnesota Vikings, Robert Smith. Robert Smith signed 1 year contracts every year,
hmm,
guaranteed money. So he got 5, 10, 15, $20 million. That's how his contract went. He never signed contracts over years. He signed 1 year contract. He was a top running back when Minnesota had all that Brandon Moss and
And he
all these.
left at the top of his game.
Yes, he did. He left. But they was like, how did you do this? How you got so much money? I signed 1 year deals and I got all my money. I was like, wow, that's a different take on it. So he
But
gonna give
but
you
everybody's not in Robert Smith's position, D.
that's true.
He was a monster. And once he proved who he was, you know what? I want a 3-year contract. Give me one. And they were like, what's he doing? He had a master plan, like Masterpiece, so to speak. Masterpiece was like, oh, well, just if you're going to do that, let me get all this in, man, and I'll make it work. They were like, damn, we lost a lot of money.
Masterpiece is a money making man.
Yeah, but I'm talking about back when he made all that money. They was like, we'll give it to him because he ain't going to sell a lot of records. He'll see he made a mistake. And he didn't. Same thing with your boy from Minnesota. He gambled on himself and won.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And,
shit.
and,
Barry
and
Sanders, when he retired, Detroit tried to get some of that signing bonus back. All them years that Barry, they at that time I think it was like $6 or $7 million signing bonus of the contract that he had. They gave him up front. So when he retired, it was like, okay, you didn't honor the contract. We want some of that money back. And then the outpour or the griping and complaining of all the fans was like, you know what? Go ahead and keep that money, Barry. You deserve it. You got that right. He deserved it. 3 years in a row, you draft a wide receiver. Then you go get 2-0 quarterbacks, and you don't think about getting a line for me. you know? But yeah,
I've said it before. That's what opened the door for the Cowboys. Tony Romo threw all them interceptions. The year they finally got a line, he had the lowest interceptions. He had the best season of his career behind DeMarco Murray having the best season of his career because they invested in that line. But, fellas, we're a little bit behind here, so we're going to go ahead and move out of football into a subject y'all touched on a little while ago. KD made some comments. he doesn't want to be there anymore. That's all it comes down to.
these are all excuses for him to say, I want to get out of here. Without saying, man, get me the fuck out of here. You underperformed. You sat on the bench for a whole year with your Achilles tear. We get it. You made all that money. Then you come back and you're not the KD of old because you ain't got Steph and you ain't got Draymond and you ain't got Thompson. You see what I'm saying? Kyrie just shitted on you and said, fuck y'all. I'm going to be my own little quirky self.
Mm-hmm.
And James Harden left because y'all bitches. You see what I'm saying? Which I still, if I don't understand how these teams get these players and won't make them play. Don't
I
trade
agree
them.
with that.
You could be unhappy as a month. You got that money, get your ass out there. And James Harden tried. He truly tried. But they expected the James Harden from 5 years ago in Houston. No, that was 5 years ago. KD was on the last legs of him being KD of Oklahoma City when he was in Golden State. See, everybody can't do like LeBron. Stay in the top league, top of the stats and everything for 16, 17, 18, 20 years. Or Kobe, or Mike, or whoever else that did it. So KD is now saying, I want to go to a winner, and I'm going to gripe and cry and bitch and make excuses. I don't have faith in the direction of the Nets. You are the fucking direction. What do you mean you don't have faith? Y'all got Ben Simmons. I just pray and hope Ben come back and be the monster that he was before he got hurt. Kyrie will become expendable, and they can get his ass up out of there. I promise you. Because Ben was a beast, man. And you think about Ben, Kyrie, and KD Ben ain't got to worry about shooting. You put him on anybody on the other end of on the defensive end of the floor. Man, that's a monster. But you ain't got faith in the directions, man. Fuck you. Get your ass out there and dribble that ball.
The sad part about it, I'm not a KD fan at all because
Me,
he acts, but hellified basketball player. But it's the thing, like Skip just said, if they can get in a room together, Kyrie, KD, and Ben Simmons, that's a hell of a nucleus right there for any team in the league. Believe me, I'm not a fan of neither one of these guys, but I respect what they do. Ben Simmons is not the player that they try to make him be in Philly. That's the problem. Hell of an all-star, hell of a player. He would help out those two, Ben Simmons, I mean, with some of their situations on defense. But what direction, Katie, I'm asking, what direction did they tell you? They brought y'all together because they want to win a championship. What was the direction you want?
well,
You want them to kiss your ass?
no. He's complaining about Steve Nash and the general manager.
Sean Marks.
Exactly.
How,
He don't
what
like
you
what
what
they're doing for the team going forward. So I want to get out of here. That's what the thing is.
that's what we reported. But like I told you, they gave Steve Nash this job.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't respect Steve Nash as
No,
their coach because, like you said, they feel like they better than Steve Nash. See, they're Hall of Famer, two-time MVP. We know about the MVP. We'll go there later.
Kobe MVPs.
So they gave him them two MVPs, Steve Nash, whatever the case may be, whatever. Now all of a sudden you don't respect the coach. You don't respect Sean Marks. Sean Marks is the GM that made all these pieces move around. They get all these players here. The LaMarcus Aldridge, the Blake Griffins out the world. They got you.
Mhm.
They had the other guy, Patty Mills, came from San Antonio. Then you got your boy Curry over there. Y'all got James Harden. Y'all had an all-star team. Some of them on their back end of their career, but you had a team in place. You listen to more of the commentators and the sports reporters that getting your ass out there playing and handling y'all business. And then you got these young, again, we're going hard back. I say this, I'll let you go, Skip.
Mhm.
These young bulls in this league, they hungry. Ain't nobody scared of KD. Ain't nobody scared of Kyrie. They're not scared of you. Now that Kane joke over there, they be scared of him because they running from him. They run from LeBron because all of these players ran besides Kyrie ran from the West when he came to the West. They came to the East. So what direction you want? Tell me what direction you want.
See, um, KD, Shannon Sharp um, made a good
Analogy.
statement about KD.
Yeah.
He said that KD is not a leader. And when he got to Golden State, all he had to do was be KD. He didn't have to lead the team. He led the team as far as playing, scoring, and being the man when they needed a bucket. But he wasn't the vocal leader of the team. He wasn't the vocal leader of Oklahoma City. He was the biggest name there, but he's not a leader. You followed Kyrie, and Kyrie's not a bust as in basketball skills, but he's a bust in everything else. Kyrie made the statement that I finally got somebody that'll make a basket, as if LeBron didn't take them to the championship 2 years, to the finals 2 years back to back. KD ain't taking him out the first round. You see, people forget he made that statement like LeBron just didn't do what LeBron does. So KD is not a leader, man, and he wants to go to a ready-made team like Phoenix or like Miami and be carried to a championship or help them get over the hump for a championship because he's still good enough to where he can carry a team. I got to give him that. But no, he don't want to be the man, so to speak.
Hmm.
But that's
Well,
that's KD, bitch ass.
bitch ass. We're gonna take
Get
a
him out
shot
straight
to
to sleep.
bitch ass.
Yeah, tell
And you
him
could
I said it so he could try to troll me on the internet. We can go at it.
All you gotta do is
so he got
send him something
nothing
on
better to
Twitter.
do.
Do what?
Send him something on Twitter. He might chat back at you.
I don't even have a Twitter, so
He did it to some guy today, man. That's what's crazy. You today. You more concerned about what people saying on Twitter. The guy said something about his car and his internet wasn't working or something. Can't even tweet it back. Don't get mad at me because you got a shitty car and trash internet. Come on, dude. Why? Because he tagged you in that. So, that lets you know what type of dude he is.
Mm. We've talked about it for weeks. It's been months. Actually, today marks the 172nd day that Brittany Griner has been locked up abroad, and obviously she never watched the show because now she's in this situation. So Russia has sentenced her to 9 years in prison. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to go to prison in Russia. But I mean, there's a lot of back and forth with this. And Skip, I will say this week, ever since the sentencing, I have seen a lot more posts kind of siding on your view and almost saying exactly what you said last week. Um, and have said in the past, a lot of people saying, she knew what she was doing. You went to another country, you broke the law, now you got to live with it. So, I mean, where do we go next? Like, some people say that, and it was said that she pled guilty on purpose in the hopes
thinking she
of
was gonna
this
get a small
trade.
charge. Yeah. Well, no. I understand that part too. And yes, to what you're saying, but it was a formality for her to get sentenced anyway. What people don't know is the school teacher that's over there in Russia in prison. He's in prison for the exact same damn thing, and they gave him 10 years, and he's been
14.
over there 3-4 years. You see what I'm saying? So now that the big name gets the exact same fucking charges, it's they should do her like that. She's so sad and she made a mistake. Do y'all realize that if she she was leaving Russia with it. This isn't the first time that she's actually flown with that hashish oil.
Nope.
You see what I'm saying? She's just gotten away with it because she's pretty. Don't search her bag. That's a basketball player. Let her go. Blah, 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 or whatever the case may be. So, man, that's just so wrong. And they this and they that and they this and they that. Man, I posted a meme on Facebook a couple of days ago. It was somebody with handcuffs with a thing over here. Said, well, let's see whose fault it is that Brittany Griner's in trouble. It was her. It's her fucking fault.
Folks, that was a Scooby-Doo meme, actually, when Freddy was pulling the mask off the villain.
Right. I feel sorry that she's in the situation she's in. But you've gotten away with it just like everybody else for so long. And now that you've gotten caught, woe is me, blah, blah, blah. Fuck all that. If she would have flew from Arizona, the team she plays for, to California, with that shit on that plane and got caught at Arizona International Airport, they would have locked her ass up here in the United States. But it happened in another country where it would have been an international flight. And she did. It was just hashish oil. It was against the fucking law. So to go back to what you were saying, Kev, the plea bargaining thing was going to happen anyway before they made any kind of trades. You see what I'm saying? So this is another, I guess, nail in the wood about, hey, she's going to prison if y'all don't go ahead and get this trade in.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. Because that's not out of the ordinary for them to sentence people to 9, 10 years. It's already happened to another American citizen. And this citizen had a prescription for the medication. She ain't got no goddamn prescription.
Now let me ask you. Okay, well then I'm gonna throw this question to D right here. Do you think this has gotten so big only based on the fact of what's going on in Russia, the Russian-Ukraine thing, and like Skip just said, 10 years, that's that's a regular thing that they do? Do you think that because it is a superstar A, and because all of the things going on with Russia and their war, that it's just kind of been used as a political game to kind of hold something over the United States in a way?
It's brought light to the situation. She just a big fish in the pond over there. Got herself in a situation. We all know we all know that different laws in different foreign countries are different than what we have here. Amon Shumpter just got caught in the Dallas airport with 6 grams of weed on him. Now they're gonna see how he's gonna get handled. But this is an international situation, two different things. International situation. Yes, there's a war going on. I can't believe they were saying, hey, they didn't want nobody going over there, getting into no situation. Has it brought light to it? Yes. Another thing why they haven't released her, because another stipulation, they wanted the U.S. to stop funding Ukraine with the war, meaning guns and things of that nature. That's some of the other stuff that they are doing. You know what I'm saying? But like Skip said, regardless of being a basketball player, it's a school teacher over there. It's like I said before, it's 40 other Americans locked up abroad before she got into this situation.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? You probably know your history. That young lady has probably traveled around the world. She's done
Yeah.
things. You know what I'm saying? Because of her athletic status. She's a superstar. She went to the Olympics and won a gold. So you should know that some of these people do not play in these different countries. You have friends probably that got locked up abroad in certain
Shakari
situations.
Richardson, she wasn't locked up, but they wouldn't let her compete because even though the state she lives in here it was legal, where the Olympics were being held it was not, so she was disqualified.
Well, again, she fought the test. She fought the drug test. So that's the difference. This young lady, and I'm saying this here, who knows if she's been doing this, and this time, hey, you know what? We got one of y'all beloved own superstars. You know what I'm saying? Now we say, oh, we finna stop this. We got you. Now we're gonna see can we use you as a pawn to get what we want from the US. You see what I'm saying? So it's bigger than the sports aspect of it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
She's coming a political pawn in a situation that had nothing to do with her. But as Skip said, you committed a crime. I don't care where you are. You committed a crime. You thinking your social status, is going to get you out of your situation. Your basketball being a high profile athlete is going to get you out of your situation. Not saying your other lifestyle either. You have a lot of stuff that's on the table that you using. They went that route first, but your personal business that ain't work. They second route they went is for medical use. Now that they use LeBron involved. Now we trading arms dealers and other prisoners and so forth for a basketball player. Basketball player now.
That's what fame gets you. Because that school teacher, they ain't think about him. And that's the
Mm.
price of fame. That's what comes along with it. And that's why, like, people like to make a stupid ass statement, what if it had been LeBron? You can't tell me when LeBron got a speeding ticket in all these years he's been in the league. You can't tell me one time LeBron got in any kind of trouble. I don't think he ever been kicked off Facebook. But y'all want to put him in that situation. You get what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. We're talking about and then I don't know if Britney's ever had any run-ins with the law. It happens. LeBron ain't got no business in Russia no goddamn way. You understand what I'm saying? And let alone to be smoking hashish or whatever it was she was smoking. But yeah, man, they're gonna in the next, I'm gonna say, month, 2 weeks to a month, they're gonna trade the two guys that Russia wants, and Brittany and the teacher are coming on home. And what's gonna happen is the next time somebody gets in trouble abroad, They're gonna say, "Well, you did it for this basketball player. Why you won't do it for me?"
Mm.
It's gonna open up a whole can of worms. I'm surprised that the sentiment ain't been, why all this outcry for Brittany for breaking the law, but not for the school teacher?
And you know that's crazy because I do know some school teachers personally that fuck around with that shit, and it kind of makes you think like, there are people doing worse things that we don't know about that we hold in higher regards, I guess you could say.
And Mister, that statement you just made, the guy they trading for is a real deal bad guy. A
The merchant
sin,
of death.
a sin is a sin is a sin. You break the law, you broke the law. This man just gave people guns. He ain't killed no goddamn body. You see what I'm saying? They called him that because he funded all these terrorist organizations. Okay, whatever. United States done funded a bunch of motherfuckers that done killed motherfuckers too. So what crime is worse? Both of them in prison. Now the prison situation is completely different because Russia, that's, boy, look, the prison over there, if you watch that shit on TV, that show they got, that's a hell of a place to be. What's the place called? World's
The
Craziest Place?
Gulag. Oh,
No, the show on Discovery.
oh yeah,
Locked up
world's
abroad.
toughest prisons.
No, World's Toughest Prisons. Not
World's
Locked Up
toughest
Abroad.
prisons.
World's
Yeah,
Toughest Prisons.
they
They
had one
will
in
show you some
Sweden that was
prisons across
horrible.
the world. This dude actually get put in prison, for a week or whatever it is. But still, it don't
Oh,
matter
in
how
Russia
bad
they
he is,
make
man.
you chop rocks all day. Like it ain't no just laying around in a jail cell for 23 hours. You outside doing manual fucking labor for 23 hours.
Right. But see, to me, like I made this statement, I think last week or the week before. When this guy would have gotten out of prison in the United States, they would have deported him. You get what I'm saying? They were going to deport him anyway. So set it the fuck on. You get what I'm saying? I don't understand why people, well, he's this, he's that. It's just as many murders in prison as it is out of prison per capita for the amount of people. People get killed in prison all the time.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So all this about how bad he was and what he did, send that motherfucker on back, which is what y'all was gonna do anyway. All it is he's filling another bed. It's another dollar going to the prison administration or however they doing it with the privately funded prisons and all that stuff now. So go ahead and get these two Russian dudes, get the two American people, be done with it. Get this shit over. It shouldn't even be in the news. It should have been done.
Well, should have been done. We are almost done. Skip, go ahead and give you your last take.
Oh man. Last take. Let's talk about these contracts, man. Kevin Durant situation. We are on the outside looking in. I'm not as good an athlete as he is, nor have I ever claimed to be. But when you agree to do something for a person, be it doing drywall, be it washing the car, it's a verbal contract, or in a lot of cases, a written contract. And if I say, hey, man, I'm going to pay you $4 to wash the car, I expect you to wash the car. These crybaby ass athletes will play their hearts out for these super max contracts, these extensions. And then when one thing don't go their way, they want to say, I don't like the way they're acting or blah, 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 and this and that, and I want to be traded. No. Your ass should stay there for all 48 fucking months. That's what you signed for 4 years. Stay there, honor your contract, be a man of your word, and then you go on out and do whatever you got to do. Try to get your twilight contract and get the rest of the money that you think you deserve going into the to fade off into the sunset. But I think, like I was saying about the NFLPA, the NBA Players Association run their league. The NFLPA doesn't. If you're not going to fight for your client, which is the player, the athlete, why would they be a part of this union? Why should they be a part of this union? Why should they buy into it? The NFLPA is going to let DeSean Watson get a whole baseball bat stuck in his ass. And they're going to have to accept it because they're laying back waiting to see what's going to happen. And he's going to miss this whole year because Roger Goodell has ultimate power, which the NFLPA gave to him when they paid him $44 million a year. I just don't get it. But that's my last take, man.
Diamond Dirty D. Go ahead and unmute yourself there, Pimp Juice. There you go.
Again, man, we got football season upon us. Baseball is dwindling down. Also, the sport we really love across America the most is coming back. From Saturday to February, we got football. So I'm here.
Ooh, this was the last Saturday with no football till February, baby.
So we good. I hope everybody team wish well and we get to see some good football and so forth. And that's it. D out.
D out. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna go right off a D with that. My last take is this. How about them motherfucking Cowboys? All right, everybody. I am your host, Mr. Kevlar Freedom Swell. For everybody here at Last Take a Shot in the Dark, thank you, Mr. Skip at Skip's Trophies and More, and Mr. Diamond Dirty D for always dropping that knowledge. We will see y'all next week, next Monday. Tune in, 8 o'clock. We out.